Tommy, we absolutely loved this film. Well done. We all enjoyed it. Chris did a really stellar review. If you want to listen to the show prior to the interview, I can't wait to get into it with you. First and foremost, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. Thank you very much for having me and for the kind words about the movie.
Right on. Are you in Ireland by chance?
I'm not. I'm in. Are you familiar with Whistler?
Chris might be. Chris is our resident
I
Voyager.
honeymoon there.
Wow, there you go.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Chris,
I'm out in the mountains.
Chris, he's saying fantastic that you were married, not that you were there.
She's a babe too, so
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Tommy, geez, man, this movie, I turned it on and I just couldn't take my eyes off it. It was beautifully shot, well written. The acting was just outstanding. You casted this. Well, I mean, I'm sure you helped with the casting and whatnot, but the selections that you made, oh my goodness. I think that Jessica Reynolds, who plays Audrey, she's going to be a star, man. And anyway, so I want to talk to you about where did this come from? I know that you wrote and directed this. Where did this idea come from?
Yeah. It specifically came from wanting to write something in this genre. Like I'm a big fan of movies like The Wicker Man, and a big fan of novels like The Loney and Devil's Day by Andrew Michael Hurley. So it was really like nothing more complicated than me wanting to do something in this genre, and so just sitting down to write it.
Well, you didn't disappoint. Like I said, the story was great, and one of the things that we really liked was I had to go back and double check myself, but as the credits are there for the opening credits and whatnot, it kind of gives you a summarization of where we're at, and I thought it says 1973. And I had to go back, it kind of feels like it was the late 1800s. Like, did I read this wrong? So that was something really cool because you did so well with it, and the costume design and whatnot. How did you decide on who you were going to cast in this? Who was going to take the roles?
Well, Gianna and I, she's the producer on the film, we early on knew that we wanted to hire a casting director to work with. The film had originally been in, the intent was originally to shoot it in Ireland and for us to do a Canadian and Irish co-production. Ultimately, that didn't end up working out and some financing fell through, so we shot the whole film in Canada. But we kept with the casting directors that we'd hired that were based out of Dublin. It was this great casting team of Maureen and Sarah. They were so good. And they really got the kind of people that we were after. And like I gave them a list of these are the kind of people that I would like for Agatha and for Colm and Bridget. But the idea was always to find an unknown for Audrey, to almost have almost kind of like a meta layer of just like the people in the film are discovering Audrey, we as an audience would be discovering the actor playing the part.
Well, you see her character as Audrey, evolve in who she's going to be towards the end of the movie and what she becomes. She's this really innocent child and, obviously super well sheltered for really good reason. and then at the end, she just becomes this powerful actress in front of you. You see her evolution, and I really just enjoyed that. I thought she did such a great job, and obviously the supporting casts, just all the different characters that were in the movie, and they all played a really crucial role. And it just all comes together in the end. It's really dark, scary at times. I was watching this. I commute from Jersey to New York, and I'm watching it on the bus on my phone with my headphones on, and there's some scenes in there that are gory, and it's like if that really, some horror movies are over the top gory, but this is like, if this really happened to somebody, this is how it's going to be. And I'm like squirming in my seat, hoping nobody's watching me as I'm watching this happen on my phone. Anyway, so well done with that. I'm going to pass it on over to my co-host Muse, and she's going to ask you a couple questions. Go ahead, Muse.
Hey, Thomas. It's a pleasure to meet you and to speak with you. So I hope
pleasure to meet you and as well.
I hope I don't lose you out there in the mountains.
Yeah, hopefully I've seen a few bears.
Right. Yeah. No, we don't want that.
Hopefully no bears with two heads or anything like that.
No. Yeah. No
Thank
two-headed
God.
animals. We're good on all that. All right. So the first question I had was, there's so many great scenes in the movie In the Curse of Audrey Earnshaw. What were the most challenging scenes to film during the production of this film?
The most challenging scene to shoot would have been the ritual scene that appears like 10 minutes into the movie. And that was like from a purely logistical standpoint, in that we had a location move halfway through the day, and then there was a snowstorm that came out of nowhere, and just it sort of ground everything to a halt. And what was originally supposed to be a scene that we were going to spend a whole day shooting ended up being something that we had less than half a day to do, like with the unit move, with the snow outside, and then like the cast that we had, they're all wearing like nightgowns, and it was this freezing cold barn. So that was, I think, by far the most challenging.
I definitely understand. That was a powerful scene, by the way. And I noticed that we've talked with folks on the show before, and I noticed Audrey's eyes in that scene. And anytime they have I thought for sure you're going to say something about the contacts she was wearing in that scene where her eyes are white, because it seems like, anytime we've talked to different actors and actresses, they have to wear those contacts they can't see. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I know she's probably like, oh, not these contacts. But it was such a cool scene.
Thank you.
Yeah, I loved it. Speaking of scenes, were there any scenes that you had to leave out of the film that you wish that you could have left, kept in the film for whatever reason?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of scenes that got cut out. A lot of scenes with just more scenes with Audrey and Agatha together, like inside the home. The film originally opened with a prologue that was featured Audrey as a little girl, and it had these two men coming and shooting Agatha. And yeah, that was another scene that was challenging to shoot, because unfortunately that was a day where we didn't have a freak snowstorm, but we had to create one because it was set during a blizzard. So that was a really cool scene. I wish we could have kept.
I would love to see a director's cut, because I could not get enough of this film. It was fantastic.
Thanks. There is a director's cut.
I'm all in on that, because I love the film, and I would love to see those scenes that you're speaking of. So I wanted to ask you, were there the movie is really intense and really has you transfixed as you're watching it. Were there any like funny behind the scenes moments where you were kind of like all had kind of a chuckle about something or whatever? I always like to know if there's any kind of like funny behind the scenes stuff going on.
Oh yeah, I felt like the whole time there was like, obviously it's like it's this intense movie and like there's grim stuff happening left, right, and center, but like we were like laughing the whole time that we were making the movie. Oh shoot, I just thought of something that I immediately forgot. Oh shoot. There was, so at the end of the film when they sacrifice Agatha inside the Dwyer like dining room, that was a thing set up where, they had to wipe the table, like clear it off, like everything's breaking on the ground. We had this big camera move, and we were really hoping that we could get it done in like just one take, because it was going to be a huge pain in the ass to reset. And like every single thing that could have gone wrong, like went wrong during that take, where it was like the camera hit the wall and like they couldn't get all the cutlery and plateware off the table. And then camera turns and Jessica, who plays Audrey, was in the background of the shot, like on her iPhone. and it was just like a nightmare.
Oh my goodness, I can just imagine. But it was just so,
Yeah, and then it's
it
like,
was so fantastic. The whole movie. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna gush. I'm not gonna gush everywhere. But I loved it. I loved it so much. The last question
oh, thank
before I
you.
pass it off to one of my other co-hosts, is about the music in the movie. It was so haunting, so beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the artists and some of the music? How you decided which music to put in the movie, because it matched the mood so well throughout the film.
Well, it was so there's two credited composers on the film. The composer who I have a relationship with, his name is Brian Buss. He and I had worked together on my last movie. So he knows like the kind of thing that I like, and the sort of, I'm really into like atonal sounds and just like sort of menacing dissonance and that kind of thing. And he's just an awesome guy and a super talented guy. But then another composer was brought in who contributed music as well. And I actually never even met that person.
The music was absolutely gorgeous. The scenery was gorgeous. The whole movie was just, I'm going to say, fantastic for the fifth time. But it was such a well done movie. The performances were spectacular. Everything it ticked all the boxes for me. And thank you so much for making it and for coming on the show. And I'm going to hand you off to the wonderful and eternally handsome Chris Zizi, because I know he's got some great questions for you.
Cool. Sounds good.
Hey, Tommy, welcome. And if I knew you were in Whistler, I'd say we're heading up there. We're going to do this on location. And I am so envious of you. Go up to Blackcomb Mountain. It's beautiful up there, but you probably already know that.
It's beautiful. I'm loving it.
I need to get married again so I can go on another honeymoon. But this is the keeper, so maybe I'll just take you on a second one. But, I don't want to give any spoilers, but this is an ominous movie. It's without humor. It's not something you would see on Mystery Science Theater 3000 where they're poking fun at it, because this is horror all the way without ever betraying it. There's no, you've got nothing in you that says, we got to loosen it up. We got to throw in some kooky character to give a laugh. You kept this horror all the way, and there's an intensity to it. Let me ask these questions backwards. First of all, the ending where the final reveal happens, and I'm not going to say what it is, but you have a choice of filming it in a few different ways, whether you want to keep things, whether you want to show things. Was there a lot of debate with you and your creative crew as to how that ending needed to be filmed, or was that it, that this is what we need to do?
You mean, not to give anything away, but the ending with the Dwyer family? Not with the
bride at the end.
The idea was always to keep the thing off camera. Just because it's anything that we could show you would not match what you could imagine. You know what I mean? And I would have approached it, I think, the same way had we had like a $20 million budget, let alone a $1 million budget.
Right.
So I think it was just, there's some things that just are better served by the imagination.
Absolutely. And even though you might not have seen it visually, there were haunting voices extolling certain things that really stuck with you and tickled the spine. You as the director, you've got to get this crew in the mood. You've got to get the vernacular down. You've got to get them serious. And I'm just thinking, when you were filming this movie, are these all depressed people, or you alluded to the fact that they're having a good time off camera, and I just can't picture that because, I guess that just shows great acting, and it almost had to be a release for them because once the camera's on, there's a game face that goes on, that there's no room for anything quirky, no room for any ad libbing. It looked like it had to be very, very controlled. That I'm sure there was, when the camera was not on, there was a whole bunch of letting off steam and sort of letting it go. And you probably designed that in a way to keep these guys on an even keel, and that had to be difficult.
It was like, I mean, it was. I think that was the appeal for some of the cast, because some of the actors on the film had been in horror films before, but some hadn't. And I remember, for example, Hannah, who plays Bridget. She's done some other horror films and horror TV. But the appeal, one of the things that she said appealed to her about the project was the physicality of the character. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the same like with Jared, who plays Colum. He was excited about exploring these emotions and like playing a young father. So I think even though it's like this kind of horrible, miserable story, like everybody had their own reasons for doing it, and we had a good time, and people would go out drinking on the weekends or whatever.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hey, one more question, and I gotta ask it, and I'm guessing the answer is no, but you never know. You had a lot of I don't want to say satanic rituals, or there were a lot of rituals. Was there any weird stuff that happened because of them, or you had to pull back and say, maybe we did that a little bit too well? Did a painting fall off the wall, or did the camera fall on the cameraman's foot and smash it in 1,000 pieces? Or was it just, nah, this is fine? I'm always wondering, because I've heard in some movies where they do this. We talked to Stephanie Penn regarding The Dawn, and weird stuff happened. I'm wondering if it happened here as well.
No, that would have been probably terrifying in the moment, but would have made for a great story. But no, it was pretty smooth sailing. Only the terrifying things were a couple of the freak snowstorms.
Yeah.
But it was more just like, holy shit, what are we going to do with our day?
Yeah. Well, I'm relieved to hear that. And Tommy, great job. A joy having you here. And I'm going to hand it off to my buddy Omar.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, Tommy. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you, Omar?
I'm doing well. And I was very fortunate to see your movie through Fantasia. And after watching the movie, I really enjoyed it, and I knew it was one of the movies that we wanted to bring on the podcast here. But speaking of Fantasia, how was that experience, and what were your thoughts when you found out your movie was going to be shown at such a big event?
I was super excited to find out that we would be having our world premiere at Fantasia. The one of the ways that we were able to get this film made was through a co-production market called Frontiers. That's actually held during Fantasia. So I've gone to Fantasia a few times over the years, and it felt almost like a homecoming in that, because this project had been through like development, and we've gone through a financing forum and all this stuff through Frontiers, which is associated with Fantasia. So it was super exciting, and I love the festival, and everybody who works for the festival is they're just great people. It was just a bummer that we couldn't do it all in person this year.
Yeah, that was what I was just thinking, that it was a little unfortunate that you did all that hard work and you finally had your chance to actually go there, but you couldn't. But I know that they did a fantastic job, and I believe you got to do some Q&A stuff as well.
Yeah, we did like a live, I think also on Zoom, like a live Zoom Q&A after the film with some of the collaborators, and got some answers. It was cool. And he's just the best guy.
Well, congratulations again on that big award. And another reason that I felt the need to speak with you is the 1973 that you put this in, and it's not really a spoiler because it's plain sight at the beginning, but you lose track of it as the movie goes on, besides for maybe one little thing here and there. But why the 1973? Did it have a special meaning? Is there something going on there that maybe we all missed, or?
It's a bit of a long story, but the long and short of it is that one of the financiers insisted upon it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't argue
Not
with
the
that.
Not the most exciting answer, I know.
I guess I guess so. They're the ones that make
Yeah.
the financial decisions. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't distract. I just thought, it's odd, and you can envision, and there's still some people that live in that kind of lifestyle. But then there are a scene here and there that remind you that, wait a minute, it's not that time. And you're kind of like, whoa, what is happening here? But I guess we'll have to ask that producer why they made that decision.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's coming up a lot.
Well, I know you said there's going to be a director's cut. Maybe that's something that could be answered in there. I guess we
Absolutely.
talked. Ken mentioned Jessica and how great she was in the movie, and part of her role is and part of maybe the way you wrote it is a coming of age story. And did you, when you
Yeah.
were writing that, how much did you focus on that and her development as far as a coming of age? And she is the girl, and then she's like, I'm going to take the mom's place here.
It was a big consideration in the script. It was like some of my favorite movies are coming of age films, like Rushmore, which is obviously a very different movie from Audrey Earnshaw, but a major sort of reference point for me during the writing and a little bit during the shooting was the movie The Virgin Suicides, and that movie being a kind of dreamy, dark coming of age story in its own way. And knowing that I wanted the sort of center, like the heart of the film, to be the mother-daughter dynamic. So some other stuff that I looked at during the writing was like Black Swan and Carrie, for these kind of dark coming of age, sort of claiming your independence kind of movies.
It's definitely a theme these days. We've seen a lot of coming of age in different avenues, in different ways, and different characters and different people. So it seems to be the way to go, and you did a terrific job in that. And I guess my
Thank you.
final question is the sheep scene. How crazy was that, putting that together, and what was, I guess, the cast reaction, the ones that were involved in making that scene happen as you went through that process?
Well, Hannah was, like she'd said when we were first talking, and she was the physicality of the character was so appealing to her. Anytime we had these crazy, because she has basically all of the kind of crazy shit to do in the movie, but she was always like, oh yeah, let's just do it, like super awesome and calm about it. It smelled horrible because it was a real sheep that we'd got from a slaughterhouse. But yeah, we actually had two. So there was the dead sheep that you see, that's the real actual sheep. And then we had a prop dead sheep that we see like Jared carrying, or Jared S. Coleman, before he burns it. But anything to do with the sheep was a pain in the ass with this movie, because the sheep that we actually had for the live sheep sequences were not very, they weren't like well-behaved animals. Like, they were crazy. And my dad was the sheep wrangler. He got kicked a couple times. But yeah, it was.
That's crazy, man. Sheep are not like dogs. They can't be really. I guess it would take an extra set of trainers to train a sheep to, well, let alone their demise in the movie.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, we had horses in the movie, and the horses were mostly fine, but these sheep were crazy to deal with.
Yeah, animals can be rough. There's another movie that I recently saw that had a lot of sheep in it. I don't know how well they behave, but I thank you for your time and answering the questions. And again, terrific job with the movie. And I'm going to throw it back to Ken.
Cool. Thanks, Omar.
Well, Chris asked something. I think it was Chris, where you're talking about one of the scenes. You're doing rituals and stuff like that, and one of the scenes, Audrey, Jessica's character takes the reverend or the pastor back. I have to show you, and he has that flashback, and there's some nudity in that scene. And I had to ask, Jessica seems like she is a lot younger. How she handled that part so well? Because I mean, there's like full nudity in that movie and that scene. How did she do with that? I'm just curious about that.
I mean, both her, like Jessica and Sean, were just totally like, it was a weird scene to shoot. Obviously, like you have all these nude people and they're all wearing contacts so they can't see, and it's or like pumping heat into this church. Like it was another like challenging scene from like a production standpoint. And I think we shot that scene like it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. But both Sean and Jessica were both just like, everybody was doing everything they could to make the like we called them the depraved cast members feel as comfortable as they could.
Well, Muse alluded to something, and it's not really a question, more of just a comment, but as we see Audrey get taken to the other women there, and they do their seance and whatnot, and she goes with the her eyes and stuff. At that moment, I knew this movie was going to be badass, like, because it was not cheesy, like the way it was done. It was like haunting. You know, you can see their breath and whatnot. Like it was a really, just that whole scene was probably one of my favorite of the movie, because it literally just grabs you out of the screen and it's like, you're going to watch this now and you're going to be tuned in. And that's how I was. And sometimes I tune out of movies, like, you know, I just, you lose focus or whatnot, but I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. So well done, Tommy. And it was terrifying, but you know, you're not off the hook here, because you scared us a little bit. So now it's our turn to scare you. And on our show, we like to put our guest on through a trivia contest. We call it the Deathly 13. So it's 13 random horror trivia questions. Now, Chris and Omar and myself, we don't know what these questions are, but Muse, being the woman that she is, she likes to torture us and she likes to see us fail. Yeah. So she's going to ask you these questions. If you want help from either one of us, Chris or myself or Omar, you can, or the dog that you just pulled up there. What's that dog's name?
Shoot. Gumdrop.
Gumdrop. Wow. All right. So we got another lifeline there, and Gumdrop. Let's ask Gumdrop the question. So you get us as lifelines for one question at a time if you choose. You can ask for multiple choice, and you can ask for what was the other one, Muse?
Postpone.
Postpone it. Yeah, you can postpone to the end if you have maybe the on the tip of your tongue or whatnot. So the Deathly 13. Tommy, good luck. Muse, take it away.
All right.
First, has anybody ever gotten all 13 questions right?
So at the end, the 13th question is worth 2 points. So we've had people go 14 for 13. So no pressure.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But wait. Before you go, the worst, I think the worst score was like 6 or 7. So it's not horrible. They still got over half right. So don't score less than a 6.
No pressure. All right. So we're going to just jump right in. And with the first question, I'm going to start with a classic horror to start us off. And it's The Prince of Darkness from 1987, directed by John Carpenter. And I'm going to ask you, what rock star wrote the title track for the Prince of Darkness soundtrack and had a cameo role in the film?
Alice Cooper.
Yes. All right. Off to a great start. We always have everybody's worried about how bad they're going to do. You're already off to a great start. All right.
Okay.
You're doing great. All right. Question 2. Which star of Jaws, co-star of Jaws from 1975, had a small role in Piranha 3D from 2010? He had a little small role there, but we definitely recognize him.
From Jaws?
Yep. He was a co-star in Jaws.
Oh, Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes, Richard Dreyfuss. Correct. All right. You're doing great. Question 3. I'm going to switch to horror television shows for a second, and I'm going to ask you, who did Rick begin a romantic relationship with in the TV version of The Walking Dead?
I have no idea.
All right. So
I've never seen a single episode. I'm sorry to say.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess this is where we come in with our lifelines, right? Which one did you want to use?
Chris or Omar
Chris?
would look like a good option, not me.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
Chris seems to know.
Is it Michonne?
It is Michonne. Yes. I think they call the couple Rashone. Epic couple.
In Canada, it's Michonne.
Okay.
Michonne.
Michonne, tomato. Yes. Fantastic. Yep, that is the correct answer. And I'm going to jump right into question 4 and ask you, in The Ring from 2002, how many days after watching the Sinister videotape does one meet their doom?
7 days.
It is correct. That is correct. 7 days. All right. All right. Question 5. All right. What is the name of the cat Dr. Herbert West reanimates and then has to fight off in Reanimator?
Good question.
I always like asking these animal questions, and everybody's always like, "Don't do this to me."
I'm drawing a blank.
All right, I can give you multiple choice, or we can postpone it.
Or you can
let's do
ask
multiple choice.
Yeah, or there's still lifelines.
You can ask me or Omar if but we don't know. I mean, I may know. I don't know, but
I'm curious about the multiple choice. That might jog something for me.
Okay, was it Ralph, Rufus, or Richie?
Rufus?
It was Rufus. That is correct. All right. All right. So the
6.
We're on question 6. Okay, I was like 5 or 6. I thought I was going to say 6. I was doubting myself there. All right, question 6. In the movie This Is the End from 2013, and Ken is already laughing. What boy band does Jay Baruchel mission to heaven after the apocalypse in This Is the End? What boy band is in heaven there?
Was it Backstreet Boys?
It was Backstreet Boys. Yes, that's an epic scene. Great way to end the movie there.
That's an amazing movie.
Horo's favorite band all time, just so you guys know.
Same with my sister.
All right. We actually talked a little bit about Final Destination last week, so I thought it would be fun to throw in a trivia question about that film. And I'm going to ask you, in the movie Final Destination from the year 2000, what flight did the characters get kicked off of in the original Final Destination? What was the number of that flight?
Oh. I don't know.
Well, you're in good shape. So even if you take a miss here, that's not a huge deal at all. So we can post.
You can always ask me or Horo. I'm not saying that one of us know it, but you can take a chance. If you want to.
Yeah, why don't Ken, what do you think?
Oh shit. I was hoping you wouldn't ask me. I'm just gonna go with like the obvious 187 or 666. Is it one of those?
You are it's 18 something, but it's not 187.
183. 185.
lower. Is that Omar doing like the
181?
181?
You're very close. Very close.
Oh, 182.
180.
180.
Oh, he said it. Tommy said it. Tommy said it. We're going to give it to him.
180. He's like, let me just bail Ken out of this mess.
I had to use my lifeline. My lifeline was going. I know, right?
Tommy threw him the life preserver there.
That was like The Price is Right. You know, you guess every single number till you nail the right one.
Right. Lower.
Hey, we're going to mark it down as a win. So moving on.
Okay, perfect.
I gotta stop. Okay, I gotta stop. All right. You guys got me messed up now. I don't even. What question are we on? I think I lost
8?
track.
8, I believe. Yeah.
Question 8. We're gonna go back to the movie The Ring, and I'm gonna ask you, what is the name of the vengeful entity that emerges from the well in the movie The Ring?
Oh shit.
That's not it. Oh, shit.
No.
Shit is not the right answer.
With an S.
It does start with an S.
Yeah.
Is it it's like Sequoia or something like that?
Ooh,
like I know they made
so
it.
close.
Doesn't end with an A.
Sadako?
Doesn't-
You know what? Take a minute because you have it on the tip of your tongue. Let's use your lifeline where you can think about it. You're on question 8. You still got like 4 or 5 questions left, so think about it. You're close though. It does something with a sa. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's hold off then.
All right. Question. We skip 9. You go to 10.
Oh, 9, 10. Okay. Question 10. In the movie Annabelle from 2014, Annabelle is both a person and what inanimate object?
Doll.
That is correct. A doll. All right. Charging ahead. Question 11. Who is the leader of the killer puppets in the movie Puppet Master from 1989 and on? They've made quite a few sequels.
Remember, horror is still an option.
He carries like a little blade. A little blade is. Well, let me just. Whoops.
Yeah, I can picture him.
He
like
carries like a little
hat and everything.
Redacted. Let me just.
You may or may not have just got the answer.
Yes, I may or may not have just given you the whole freaking answer right there. That's funny.
Oh, I feel like I was talking over you.
Yeah. Good job, Wesley Snipes.
That's my fault. I gave it away. Oh, he didn't hear me, did you?
I don't think you did.
No, but now I'm wishing I had.
Well, it has something to do with the weapon he carries. Let's put it that way.
It's a little blade.
It is blade. Yes.
Yeah.
He's little, so it's little blade.
Yeah, there you go. I'll take that.
Blade. Yeah. Like Little Kim.
Little blade. Little blade.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm dying. I'm dying.
I'm over here butchering the trivia and stuff. Okay. All right. You guys are doing great though. All right. This is another film we talked about just kind of in passing last week. What horror comedy by Robert Rodriguez has an intentional missing reel in the middle of the film?
Planet Terror.
Planet Terror. That is correct. All right.
All right. Before you ask question 13, let's go back to question 9. And what was her name? The gal that came out of the TV there.
Yeah, in the ring.
Sadako?
That would have been a cooler name, but no.
Yeah, it was Samara. I'm sorry.
Samara.
Yeah, Samara. Yep.
All right. So listen, if you get this one right, you still can go 13 for 13. And remember, you still have Horo. Okay. You still have Horo as an option. So.
Right.
Yeah. Anything that has to do with Robert Pattinson, he's going to know. So.
Well, it is not a Robert Pattinson question, sadly. All right. This is another classic film from 1988, The Serpent and the Rainbow. Fantastic Wes Craven film. And in the movie, The Serpent and the Rainbow, in what substance does Dennis Allen dream he is buried alive in?
What substance?
Yes, there's a scene where he's feels like he's being buried alive in this particular substance. This, I'll give you a hint. It's a fluid.
And it's like, don't bury me. I'm not dead.
Right.
Fluid. It wasn't water.
It was not water.
Remember, you can ask Horo if you need a little hint.
I'm thinking, but I'm not really sure.
I'm thinking too. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Is it
what do you see a lot of in horror movies?
Tarzan movies.
What was it?
Blood?
Oh,
Blood.
There it is.
Yep. Yep. I was like, what do you see a lot of in horror movies? That particular fluid. That's correct. It is blood.
All right. Thomas, you do a good job in your 13 for 13 with the bonus question. Well done. Hey, listen, man, we are so grateful that you were able to come on the show and talk about The Curse of Audrey Earnshaw. We want to know what you have in the works, what's in the pipeline for you. What are you working on now?
I'm working on a new script. It's called The Burial.
Mm-hmm.
It's a revenge movie about identical twins.
Wow. When can we see? You're working on it now, so it's in early development, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, pardon me. I'm just working on a new draft of the script and in the process of putting together the team.
Right on. So listen, Tommy, where can we find you on social media?
I have a Twitter account, and it's just at Thomas Robert Lee.
Excellent. All right, listen, man, congratulations on the release of the film in the States here. Listeners, please check this film out. You will not be disappointed. If I'm going to say this, if you like The Witch, I like this film better. I love The Witch, but I like this film better. I thought it was dark. It was well written, well directed. The scenes were amazing. It was awesome. Check it out. Tommy, thank you so much again. We hope you have a great night. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was awesome. All right, bye.
All right, Tommy, thank you. Take care.
Yeah, thanks, man. Take it easy.
You too.
Bye, Tommy.
Hi, Tommy.
All right. See you guys.
Oh man, what a great interview, Tommy. Man, he's gonna go on to some bigger and better things there. I think this film just really knocked it out of the park. Horo, once again, thank you so much for arranging this interview with PromoteHorror.com. The Curse of Audrey Earnshaw. So definitely check that out, listeners. I do mean that. You know, I love The Witch, that movie, The Witch, and I'm not comparing the two, but it was along those lines. And I thought this movie was just everything that The Witch should have been, in my opinion. We got to make sure Killer Casey watches this one because I think she's going to like it a lot, especially when there's dead goats and stuff like that. Speaking of goats, let's go around the horn and give our shout outs. Horo, we'll start with you first.
All right. I'm going to make it, kind of simple tonight. And basically a shout out first to all the people who have been keeping me busy since October. I don't think I've slept. Between the press releases, promotions, the interview requests, the emails, everything. But that's the fun thing about October. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I spread the horror every day, and I appreciate it. And if it wasn't for you guys, I'd be just sitting here with a knife on my head for no reason and looking stupider than I usually look. With that, another shout out to Nightstream. Festival's going on this weekend. Hopefully, get to see a couple of movies there, and I can talk about them with you guys. I've always loved those festival films, and again, they bring so much. So remember, you guys can check that out, and all ticket purchase to that, it goes to charity as well. So terrific event going on this weekend. And of course, Brian Bertino gets a shout out yet again. And in case you're wondering, I believe next week, if I've done my calculations correct, I will reveal what the hell it is I'm talking about. And if anybody out there who wants to take a guess at it, please, you can DM me on either of my Twitter accounts. Take a wild guess, and maybe if you're close enough, I can come up with a prize or nothing. There's a very easy explanation, but then there's a little bit more to it. So you can't just throw a certain movie out there and be like, okay, that's the answer. There's a little bit more to it. But yes, shout out to him, and yeah, spread the horror and enjoy October.
Right on. I'm very interested to see what you reveal next week. I'm very curious. Let's get on with Chris the Creature. What do you got for us today?
I got two beautiful ladies to shout out. One, an actress named Danny Thompson. I have seen many of her films, all terrific. She's one of those actresses that if she's in the film, it's a great film. And I thought about her because the next up on my list is one I'm going to watch tomorrow called Pumpkins from about a year ago. And so I know since Danny Thompson is in it, it's going to be really good. And I also want to shout out to a Air France airline hostess or stewardess or flight attendant, very pretty blonde lady named Patricia. She is the subject of a new book I got coming out, and it chronicles her career, or at least part of it, embellished just a slight bit by me. But I just want to shout her out. She's a very, very good sport, and I want to let her know that I have treated her very well in this book, so you don't have to worry. And that's it.
Right on. Gory Lori, what do you got?
All right. I don't have any shout outs this week, and I need to start writing them down because I always have like 3 or 4 people I'm thinking of, and I never remember them. I need to write them down. Definitely need to get more organized, but I just want to say thanks to all the listeners and everybody that tunes into the YouTube and the Facebook. And I think we're on Periscope there on Twitter too. Thank you guys so much. Definitely, it's October. Start watching the scary movies. Get out there, support the indie horror. A lot of it's on demand. There's some great movies coming out this month. We just talked to the director of one of those movies that came out today. Give that a watch. Curse of Audrey Earnshaw. I believe it comes out today. We've got all kinds of horror coming up, some favorites and some new ones. So definitely, I'm gonna echo Horo here and say, spread the horror. It's October. Spread it all year round, but especially this month. Spread it everywhere.
Yeah, good stuff all around. I want to just say a special shout out real quick to the local. What's the place where you buy your Halloween costumes from? Spirit, right? So I took my daughter to Spirit the other day, and when you walk in, they got like the stuff you could put in your yard with the animatronics and whatnot. My little 5-year-old, Abby Rocket, just had a meltdown. She was terrified. And I want to say thanks to the people at Spirit in Manalapan here in New Jersey for putting up with my daughter for being such a wimp. I don't know what happened there. The fruit fell far from the tree on that one. But she'll learn soon enough. I'm just joking around. I love my little girl very much. Tessa Graves is my shout out. Sawgrass Footpath. She is an author. A terrifying Florida tale, The Sawgrass Footpath, unfolds with one nightmare after another. Visit her website at tessagraves.com. You could follow her on Twitter at footpath_the. Definitely a great follow there, and she's a kind woman. Like I said in the beginning of the show, please check out all our shows on the Strange Society Network, where you can find all your true crime and horror-related podcasts. Thanks to all three of you for doing a great job tonight. Awesome job. And our guest, Thomas Robert Lee, the director of The Curse of Audrey Earnshaw. I'm Monster Mash Ken. With me is Krista Creature, Horo, and Gory Lori, that muse. Till next time, my friends, keep it scary.